I'm back. I'm not at Disneyland.
That's true. We've had a crazy last couple of weeks with trip to the premieres in LA and Disneyland.
We
And
have a
then
season pass. So I said to Scott, I'm like, if I buy this season pass, I'm going once a month for the entire year. So we've been busy. I've been busy.
yeah, and it's been a lot of fun. I was hoping that we were going to get to see you in the park last week with this
I know
live,
I tried to.
and it didn't work out. Technology was not cooperating, but and thank you for those that are already hopping on early for this week's podcast. Like those who are following along on Instagram with Lori, you know that we had a dear friend pass away and we're going to his funeral today, but we didn't want to miss out on a chance of still diving into this episode. So we started this a half an hour earlier than our usual time.
Yeah.
And now I'm realizing why we don't do this so early.
Oh my gosh, seriously. This is what we would normally look like. And I have to move way over here. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so bright. And it's not even summer. Like, this is like weird that they have so much light. Anyways.
Yeah.
We work with that's fine.
Yeah, we're rolling with
Let's talk about the Amazing Race, because this isn't the normal Amazing Race. This is it's awesome. And I love every second of it. Don't get me wrong. But this is a very unique season. I literally have never seen anything like it. Even when they've had seasons where people have come back and people kind of know each other, this is a different level. Like I had to keep calling Scott. He's at work yesterday, and I come like, oh my gosh, you're never going to guess what just happened. and we'll discuss all these things eventually. But I'm still just like, oh, I got something flying by me. I'm still blown away of the way this Amazing Race, this group of cast, they just are. It's so fun to watch. But they're
running a different race, but definitely.
Yes.
And it could be good. It could be bad. I think that's for the fans to talk about. You know, that's one of the reasons we like to do these live Q&As, is where we can get on, talk with the fans about what are the hot takes. What are your thoughts about the episode? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Like, you know, what's going on? But, well, first off, what I noticed right away, we had a 5:14 a.m. start by Jag and Jazz, and there was over 6 hours separating them from Megan and Matt again, just like on the previous leg. So despite all the train debacle and how messed up things got, apparently it got messed up enough for everybody that it didn't get even more drawn out. I was worried like we could have like 12, 14 hours separating teams. That wasn't the case. Still,
we could have if at least one of those teams on the initial train stayed on that train.
Maybe. Yep.
I feel like for this season or for this episode, when they had to, like, what time did it open? 8 a.m. or some 7 a.m., 8 a.m. I can't remember. 9 a.m., whatever that was. They might have then met up with a couple, maybe 2 or 3 teams, maybe. Right. But I feel like they would have been like 12 plus hours ahead of time. Like it's so wild. Like none of that happened on our season because there was so many equalizers of airplanes and just different trips anyways, it's wild. That's not even the wildest part of this. Like,
no, not at all. Like that's just from the get-go. And you know, again, what I love about early starts like that, we had an early start in Kyoto the day we were going to catch the Shinkansen train, where we were up early in Osaka at that. Do you remember that like flower garden area where we rip and read, and running out to the street, and it was dead. Like there was nobody out there, nobody on the streets to ask.
And it's pitch dark.
Like, where do we go to find a taxi? Like, what can we do? And it reminded me of that when Jag and Jazz were ripping. I guess I need to say Jazz and Jag. When Jazz and Jag were ripping their clue, and then they're looking for somebody. They happen to find one guy out there, you know, roaming the streets that they could get directions from. But what floored me here,
this is the first. This is the first floor.
Right? First of like 4 things in this episode.
They just wait. They just stand there and wait.
They got directions.
Yes, they got directions. Yeah. They waited for the 2 teams. They shared their directions. And I'm like, that's wild. That is awesome and fun to watch. But I'm just like, that is wild.
And I think, you know, fans, weigh in on your thoughts. Like, would you have waited? Like if you had, so looking at the times, there was a 31-minute gap between Jazz and Jag and Joseph and Adam, and then 1 minute before Natalie and Stephanie. Would you have waited 30 minutes for another team to like work together? Or would
That's
you have used
crazy.
that 30-minute buffer to like give yourself a chance to like
Well, because you
maintain
don't
the
know if
lead?
you're gonna get lost. Like, you
You
don't
don't.
know if the directions you got are gonna be easy and simple. I feel like that was an hour drive. There could have
Yeah.
been something that come up. Like, there's always gonna be something where you can meet up with people. So I would have gone, unless we made some arrangements, but I would have gone to where, you're where it was closed till 9 AM. And then you could be
And
like,
then
"Oh, good,
regroup.
we're here.
Right.
What's up, you guys?" And like chat. But that is wild.
Yeah.
And now that I say that, maybe it would be different if I knew all the teams. Like if we were back on the race and it was Jack and Carson, or maybe even Jag and Jazz, like would be like, "What's up, you guys? Come on, I got that." Like maybe it would be different.
Right.
It's so hard for us to predict what we would do. But I know we would not have done that in our season because we didn't really know anybody. And we're still getting to know people, and maybe we would have, like with Jack and Carson, when we were like in the airport with them, we were like, okay, let's try to keep the top teams on the top, like let's try to keep us safe. We probably would have done something like that.
Right.
But to the extent of what
The
everyone did on
waiting.
this episode, I don't know.
It mind boggles me,
Yeah.
because again, I agree with Lori. Like, you don't want to jeopardize even a minute
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
don't know where that minute is going to need to help you later on in the race.
Yes.
Like Lori and I lost our leg by 6 minutes. If we had waited 30 minutes here for another team, like,
That's wild.
who knows, right? Okay.
And in their defense, I mean, it's so fun to watch because we're so
Yes.
not used to gameplay like that. But also, they knew that the back of the pack was hours out. So it kind of makes it a little bit more cushiony where you can wait 30 minutes, or you can take your time finding the directions, or it's not so hardcore because you knew that there were hours between you and the last teams. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I agree, Nicole. I think Big Brother definitely is playing an element in this. Like when the game format,
Yeah.
is Big Brother, where a lot relies on social game, a lot relies on alliances and stuff. There's probably a tendency to play towards that dynamic as much as you can,
Yeah.
knowing that you might need to steal, beg, borrow from
Yeah.
those allegiances later when you need that help. So I agree. I think Big Brother is definitely having a flavor to this format, but
Yeah.
The Amazing Race is not Big Brother. And so that's what's so baffling for me to watch is I know some of these critical things that we, I guess, understand to be the expectations of how Amazing Races run. And
Yeah.
when you're not running it that way, it's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
It's
If
really
if
confusing.
you're if you're not even a Big Brother fan, and maybe you are or not, but if you are a hardcore Amazing Race fan and you're watching this season, you're probably like me. Like I'm in bed with Robbie, Preston, and Nathan. We're all watching it. And I keep sitting up. No way. Are you kidding me? That just happened like over and over. And oh my God. And I'm like still floored. And I know every single member of this cast. I know that they're all from Big Brother. I know Amazing Race like the back of my hand. I know it all. And I'm still like, this is crazy. It's so entertaining. It's crazy and so entertaining. I love it. I love it. So fun.
So self-drive, babe. We never had a self-drive in our season because we got eliminated before it. Who's driving? Who's navigating?
I'm 100% driving because
And
I'm a
why?
better driver. And more importantly, I suck at directions. And like, I'm like, this is normal. I'm like driving, and he's like, okay, just go west. Which way
Which
is
was
that?
west?
Like, if I can't see the mountains or a landmark, I have no idea what direction I'm going. I am terrible with that. But also, I mean, he's great at that. But also, he's so funny because like I could be driving and I could kind of know where I'm going. And then I kind of get distracted because I see that real pretty thing over there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, you forgot the exit. And I'm like, I did? Like, oh my gosh. So I mean, that sounds kind of airheady, and I'm not airheady, but
No, she's
I'm not great with directions.
enjoying the moment.
Yes, yes.
So I'm also like old school navigation when it comes to like I'm telling you turns like 5 turns ahead of time.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, in
Go
1
through these
mile,
2
we're gonna
stoplights,
be
and
turning
then you'll
right.
turn left. But yeah,
She's like, tell me we're turning right when we're turning right. Why are you telling me a mile ahead of time? And I'm like, because you might need to start merging over. Like,
right.
so yeah, I'm a great navigator. She's an incredible driver. if you ask my family who's the second best driver in the world, it would definitely be me. But the best driver is definitely her.
That's right.
So,
And I know how to drive a stick, so
right.
easy
And
peasy.
I think
I
these
I think these were
self-drives I heard were
automatics. Yeah.
automatics, yeah, but regardless, still good to know stick. So, you said it, a little over an hour drive, they get into this place, called Kutna Hora, and they've gotta wait until 9 o'clock for the opening time. Um, so we're not sure if it's like 7. We think they said that a couple hours to strategize, but things open, they go in, and they find the driver's seat.
Which I do like when they all 3 teams got there, they kind of all chatted together, and then I don't know if it was them or production that were like, "We have to talk individually," and then each of the teams kind of
Broke out,
separated and kind of figured out what
strategize.
would be best for their own gameplay, and then they came back together. I think what happened was brilliant. They were under the impression it was gonna be like our season, which is you catch our cameo, we were, like, on season 38 of The Amazing Race. You saw her picture on there? Did you see that? That was so cool. But they were thinking it was weight and heaviness. And so they were like, of course, Jag and Josh are like, we don't want it. We're gonna have a big target on our back because we got first place and we have the express pass. And then the other guys are like, oh, we don't want it because now we're gonna. And so I like how that was organized and discussed. And then the girls were like, well, we'll take it, but we'll give ourselves like the middle one and we're going to give you guys the heavy one, which I'm kind of surprised everyone was okay with because, again, they were dudes and they thought it was the heavyweights and they're like, we got this. It ended up being completely different. But again, our season, if it was Jonathan and Anna, Mike and Nick, and you and me, and we're all standing there, okay, who wants what? None of us would have agreed to take the
No.
heaviest weight. Like, none of us would have been okay with that. We would have been like, okay, you want it? I want it. You want everyone would have said they wanted it. I don't think Nick and Mike actually wanted it. But then we wouldn't have agreed that we would have all gotten the heaviest weight or like the medium weight. We would have all given ourselves the lightest. Again, it's wild. The way they're processing it and discussing it and figuring out what works best with them. It ended up being perfect for them, but it's so interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, for those who maybe haven't watched our season or you didn't watch our recap,
What? How dare you?
when our driver,
Go now and watch it.
when our driver's seat happened in leg 4, we literally, Nick and Mike, Lori and I were arriving in taxis at the exact same time, running down the trail towards the driver's seat. And Jonathan and Anna had just finished completing it just minutes before we arrived.
When we were pulling up, we saw Jonathan and Anna running. Our taxis pulled up together, Mike and Nick and ours.
Yeah.
And so when we got there, we got the clue. We were running together. I think we were in front of them, weren't we?
We were ahead of Nick and Mike. So we were the second
And
ones
so
to the
then by the time we had run down this little pathway, Jonathan and Anna had already decided what the weights were. And we're still standing there. Wait, were they standing there now? My mind, I can't. Were they still like right there?
So they had
running.
Their clue, and they were just leaving because they had used their
I
express
couldn't remember
pass.
if we saw them standing there as they were reading their clue. I feel like I was watching them read their clue.
Yep,
and I was like,
okay.
I'm like, oh my gosh, they're already done, thinking they already finished it, but they didn't. But they used their express pass, which was a terrible express pass to use. Anyways.
So, but what I'm saying, again, recapturing what Lori was saying, essentially there were 3 teams there at the driver's seat right around the same time, very similar to the whole setup that Natalie and Stephanie, Jazz and Jag, and Joseph and Adam are trying to navigate. But never would I dream that the 3 teams that our season would ever have talked about how can we make this work for each other. So watching them do that around the driver's seat was like mind-boggling. If we had the driver's seat and we're there to the board first, are we using it? Like Jazz and Jag felt like they couldn't do it. They had to get some of the target off them. I don't know. What would you do, babe?
Well, in that situation, if we were buddies with everybody on from Big Brother, I would have gone along with that and like discussed. But it would be hard. Yeah, if we had won the past 2 legs and we had an express pass in our pocket, I wouldn't want to take it either. But it'd be fun to like be part of that group because then you can kind of be like, I can take the 2, like I could take the middle, kind of like discuss. I definitely would not have used my express pass at all because there's such a huge gap. Like even if I sucked at the challenge, even if it was terribly hard, we would still be in the first part of the group versus the very back. I mean, I had hours I would have never used it. No one did. I'm just saying I wouldn't have used it. It just all depends. There's so many
factors.
Yeah, there's so many things to factor in. Like, I try to think for us, like, if it was Jack and Carson and, um, I don't know, what's another team?
Oh,
Jack
Jeff
and
and
Carson,
Pops.
Jeff and Pops, and, like, yeah, I probably would have been like, "Okay, what do you think?" And I think Jack and Carson would have been like, "I don't think we want it because we've already been
We don't want
winning."
the
And
attention.
maybe would have been like, "Okay, Pops and Jeff, we give it 2, but can you give us the lighter weights?" And maybe that would have been a discussion. But I'm like, what it coulda, shoulda, I have no idea in that situation. It had to be very particular teams. We had to be, of course, in the lead. There had to be a significant lead. There's
Right.
just too much to say.
And in our situation leading up to ours, we literally had ATVs leaving like 5 to 10 minutes apart. So we knew teams were right
Right
behind us.
behind
Like
us.
there
Yep.
was not this hours.
Yeah.
And some people I noticed online, they were like, well, how do you know how far behind some of these other teams are? You don't know for certain. You have an idea because
Yeah.
as you finish legs and you're
Yeah.
doing your exit interviews and you're grabbing snacks and your, production is holding you there, you do see teams as they kind of finish. You can't talk with them, but you get an idea of how far behind things are. So in this situation, I think Jazz and Jag would have known from Joseph and Adam and from Natalie and Stephanie that these other teams were not breathing right down their throats.
Yeah.
And so they knew they had some time. And while
Yeah.
they were waiting there that 2 hours, there's still not a single other team that got there even during that 2 hour window. So that's got to make them feel even a little bit better.
Right.
But yeah.
I think for us, every team was there and we knew it was a 5-minute or 7-minute break between quads leaving. Like, we knew everyone was tight. So
yeah.
Again, it just is so different. But anyway, so they get to that challenge.
So now the roadblock. The roadblock was who's feeling tapped out.
I probably would have done it.
Place.
And let me tell you, the whole time watching it, I've never had a sip of alcohol in my life. Like, the smell is even gross to me. To be able to get sprayed with beer, like, I would have been dry heaving. It would have been awful. Even I would have been so careful because I wouldn't want a single spray on me because it just sounds just so disgusting. Hilarious to watch. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was hilarious to watch
everywhere,
especially Rabina kind of get it, then a little bit more, and then even and like she's taking off layers, like hilarious. But I was like, I would have been miserable. I would have been swearing. It would have been a nightmare. Either one of us could have done it. But again, who was it that like finally figured? Was it Izzy that finally figured out going nice and slow, like watching it, doing the beer, then the carbonate, like there was but then people like knew that process and would still turn it too fast or forget to turn it and then it would spray. I know I would get it wrong 2 or 3, 4 times before figuring that out. And I would have just been pissed the rest of the day because I have this disgusting beer on me. Again, it's a unique situation because Scott and I, we don't drink. We've never had any kind of alcohol whatsoever, not even a sip. And so it would have been gross.
Well, and something else you have to understand about Lori is she has this superhuman smell, like the ability to smell the faintest of smells. And so that would have been overpowering her the whole entire drive from one leg to the next.
Yeah. Like
we would have had windows
if
down.
He did it, he would have gotten sprayed. Like everyone would have gotten sprayed a little bit.
On him.
He would have gotten it sprayed. Legit, we would be in the car, and I know this for a fact. We would be in the car. I would have the window down with my head out the window because he stinks
and
so bad.
Me for like, how bad I
Why
smell.
couldn't you do that better? Why couldn't you have gotten it perfectly? Why did you have to spray yourself? Oh, 100%. 100%. That would be me in a nutshell because I would be so mad but again, it could have been soda and it's still like, that's almost worse, being all sticky and disgusting. Like it could have been making sausages. That's like the most disgusting meat to me on the planet. And like having you smell like a sausage, I would have been dry heaving. So again, it could be anything and I could love it and hate it all at the same time.
All right. So from there, they rip and read their next clue. It tells them to go to this area.
Well, first, it wasn't by weight. It was by crate.
It was by case.
So I know when they were all together in Los Angeles before they started, they're going through all the rules. Darren is showing them clips. They show the clip of our season.
They showed our season.
They showed ours of how it works. So in their head, they're thinking this means weight. So that's why the guys are like, okay, we'll take the 3 because that's the hardest weight. We'll take the 2, which I thought that was so
and
nice.
If you think about the roadblock from the last episode where they were carrying all those glasses and those were in crates. So I can
Yeah.
see how the idea might be, oh, maybe we have to deliver more crates.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so, yeah,
or
oh, wait,
move
heavy
crates of
things.
beer, which would be heavy, yes, and it wasn't that at all, so I'm like, "Oh, that's" so next season or the next time they do this, it'll be, "Wait, is it weight? Is it amount? Is it
Like, are
weight
they
or
gonna
is
go
it the
back
amount?"
and
Like, I
forth?
don't know.
Right.
It could be
Or is
either.
it something else entirely,
Well,
something new?
Scott said, "What if it
This
wasn't
is
even weight?" Is it okay if I tell this? This is like
No,
your
I think
little
it's
okay.
fine. No, no.
Well,
So,
then just you tell it because it's your idea, it's so cool.
it was discussed on Tar Hub, Discord server that I'm in, the Amazing Race Hub, where how might driver's seat be pulled off? They were speculating before our season when it was announced that it was going to happen, but they were trying to figure out what it was. Somebody had said, wouldn't it be a great idea if the person who's in the driver's seat gets to decide which person from
Yes.
each team has to complete the roadblock? So essentially, you're putting them in the driver's seat of that task. And I'm like, that is
That's
genius.
brilliant.
That is the most brilliant way of manipulating teams,
Yep.
pissing other teams off because you chose the wrong person of their duo.
Yes.
Like,
So they would be like, "Oh, Lori sucks at smells. She's
yep.
gonna be so pissed
Or
and she's
eating
gonna be
challenge,
terrible at this."
right?
And then they're gonna fall back a couple. We're putting Lori up on that to do
Right.
the beer. 100%. Like, yeah. So I'm like, that would be a unique thing to
Yeah.
do as well. I mean,
Well,
there's
no.
so many different things
Stay
for driver's
tuned.
seat.
I don't think driver seat's over. I think driver seat's an incredible
Oh no, I
new
love it.
dynamic and twist in the game. I think we're gonna
Because
see it
you're
on a
not
lot of
just pissing
seasons.
off one team.
A lot of
Technically, you
teams.
could piss off every single team.
Yep. And they're there trying to complete the challenge while other teams
I
are
mean, I feel like
arriving.
only Chelsea was mad. Of course, we got 3 or something. Like, seemed like she was the only mad one of what they got.
Well, we're going to
Can't
break it
remember.
down in our recap when we get more
Okay.
people on, because I did notice that they were trying to give the girls the lighter, which I agree. That's a good strategy. And the boys, the heavier. But there were some times where there was male female teams that
And they
got
got
3 and some male female teams that got 2. So it's like, where's the dynamic there? Is there some,
yeah. Ah.
wiggle room? I don't know. Let's see. We'll talk about it in our recap.
Yeah.
But let's move along. So from there, they've got to go to a field and do this plow called a Ruchaldo. Um, this was hilarious. I some of the comments that were being made about like strap me up like a horse or like where's my sugar cube or
Or Tucker, like, was the horse.
yeah, like pandering the ground or whatever. Who's pulling? Who's
I'm in
driving?
the front. I'm polling just because you would be better at steering and
Like
making sure.
navigating,
So 2 things. One, like you see that I mean, it looked like a football field length. And sometimes these challenges you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is like impossible. This is huge." Okay. It's meant to like be a little difficult, but it's meant to be
intimidating.
challenged. Like, yes, like if you can try to like keep your I don't even know how to say it, just like make sure to just stay focused that it's like it's a clue in this one lane. Yes, it's quite far, but it's doable. It's possible. And it's not going to be in the first 5-10 feet. Like it's probably going to be towards the end where everybody's clue was at the very end.
Right.
So sometimes when it's like looks very daunting or like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do? They're doable. They're all doable. They're all possible. I would have for sure been in the lead. I thought it was interesting that Jag and Jazz, they're like, let's go to the side and do it. And I'm like, you go in the middle. Like that to me was crazy that they thought the side would be better than straight down the middle. But
I love challenges that have hints of other challenges, but with the twist of the country that they're in. Like, for example, this is like a needle in a haystack in a different way, right? It's spread out across the field. They've got to like dig along their little channel, but you get the uniqueness of choosing which channel you're going to claim as yours,
right.
which plow you're going to use. And so the randomization, while Lori's right, everyone's going to be approximately the same distance. Maybe it's 2/3, 3/4
Yeah.
down this way. There is going to be some randomness to, is it a little shorter, a little
Yeah.
further? But the advantage of coming to this task 7th, 8th out of 11, you've got all these plows laying down because no one's carrying their plow back. They're abandoning it where it's at. You get an idea of where
Of
the
where
clue
it's at.
probably is.
Yeah.
Get up there
Yeah.
and then start digging
Yeah.
with your plow.
And if you like, I'm a gardener, so the ground wasn't like this packed hard ground.
No.
For sure, it was difficult. Don't get me wrong, because it's hard to put that big huge plow through the dirt. But it was turned up soil, so it wasn't like as hard as it potentially could be. Again, the machine is hardened to move it was definitely hard, but it wasn't like it could have been a lot harder. Like it could have been that compact soil or
Right.
even sand would have been hard. It just was. Yeah, if you saw the things down the end,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, we just have to go approximately right there.
Approximately there.
Done. Like,
Yeah.
let's do this.
And
That would have been better for me because I'm so visual. I could see the end ish and just like go, 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 go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think from the way it looked like there was some netting that was probably spread out across the entire stretch, and the clue was attached to that netting. So no matter where you were at in the channel, you probably would have hit the clue as
Yep.
long as you were deep enough, And I think that's what they had to realize was you didn't want to be too deep where you were totally dug in, but not too
Right.
shallow where you weren't catching, the netting. So
Right.
from there, they've got to move along to another area. This time it's the Zemnai Stadion Kutnahora,
Yeah.
basically a hockey stadium. And
So
roadblock
fun.
again. This one it says, "Who wants to light the lamp?"
Did it say whoever did the first one has to do this one? I didn't catch that.
No,
Okay. I would have done both. Either of us could have done both. I
right?
would have done both. We ice skate all the time, and I know that hockey is a little bit harder than ice skating. The cleats are just they act a little bit differently. But I'm like I'm comfortable on the ice. And at first you think, oh my gosh, the guy has to give it to me, and then I have to like make a goal. Like that seems kind of that's hard. Like oh my gosh, it looked so flippin' easy. The guy like just tosses it to you, and then you can go forward and then just throw and hit.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
It
that was the easiest challenge of the whole season so far.
it'll be interesting to see when we get the other guests on our recap later. What more information we don't know.
Yeah.
It did look like they had to be beyond the blue line
Yeah.
in their
And they
shot.
couldn't
Like
be
they
right
couldn't
up
get
to the
too
goal.
close,
Yes.
And definitely
But
if you're not used
it
to the
was so funny.
dynamic
Like
of
some of the time
ice,
they would hit the ball or hit the puck to them, and then they would just like watch the puck because they can't like physically move to the puck. Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. It's also not even talent or skill. It's like luck. Like who was it? Jag that just like hit it one time, boom, got it, one and done. Like, and then there was other people, which this is another thing I want to talk about. There was
hey, we got someone here.
yeah,
Jazz is here.
that did 20. What was the most? 20 something.
25 was the
Okay.
most. The
You know
second most
how
was
Amazing
20.
Race does that, where they're like
They
3
count the attempts.
attempts, 8 attempts, whatever attempts. When they showed, well, another team got like 20 attempts or something. Then the next team got like a little bit more attempts. When we did our coral challenge, I'd probably bet you $100. We had over 20. Check, check. They did not show that. They were so kind. I don't know why they didn't show that, but they never showed that. And it was like even more apparent of last night's episode when they're like 20 whatever attempts. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, so thankful that they didn't show us when we
Yeah.
totally like murdered our challenge.
So Nicole's saying Alex would probably beg to differ that this was an easy challenge. He
Again, if
had a
you've
harder time.
never been on skates, then yes, but we've ice skated enough that I would have felt comfortable. And it wasn't like you had to do a trick. It wasn't like you had to like do a little toss, a little
Right.
turn, or a little go around, like, or go fast. Like it was, I don't know. Again, at the beginning, you think, "Oh my gosh, this might be difficult," and then they barely pass it to you. You kind of go up a couple times and then hit it. It seemed pretty easy to me.
And it seemed like attempt wise, they were counting failed passes too.
Yes.
Because I noticed that some of the
Yeah.
racers from our current season on the chat BCC, they were like, "Oh wait, that was my first attempt," but they're already saying second. I think because if they missed the pass to
The
begin
pass,
with, that
and that's
counted
part
as
of it.
an attempt as well. But
But then, yes, and you could tell some people have never been on skates. For them to like turn around, it's like the giant U-turn to go back to the front starting line was hysterical. Like it was so fun to watch these people do this challenge.
so Jazz is saying he thinks by far the easiest roadblock so far was the plank one.
Oh, no, are you kidding
Lori
me?
says not a chance.
No, I was like, I'm with you. Nope, I'm not with you. No, that is it. I mean,
Lori's
technically, if you don't
terrified of
have
heights,
I
though.
mean, it was
So,
the shortest, like, you just had to, like, get harnessed up, walk, pull up your thing, and come
yeah, it
back,
was
so I
short.
guess technically, in theory, it could be, but for me, I would have been crawling on that plank, it would have been so
I
scary.
am curious if some of the teams thought, because there were 2 roadblocks this time, if it had to go with the opposite person, because of the 11 teams, only 3 of them
Yeah.
doubled up. The other 8 teams all went with the other
Are we
person.
sure it didn't say that? Jazz, did it say that? Did it say
Or
whoever
they
did
wouldn't have let the 3 teams double up that
Oh,
did
they
them.
wouldn't have doubled up, that's
So
true.
Kylan did both. He did the hockey and the bottling of the beer.
Okay.
Alex did both, and Tucker did both.
Because I feel like in the last episode it said, or the first episode, it said whoever did the first has to do the second one. Didn't it say that?
In our season,
Okay, I thought in this
there
season it
was a
said that one time.
roadblock where if it was in order, whoever
That's
did
true.
one had to do the other, but there was language that specifically says that. Yeah. Jazz is saying it did not say that. Jag
Okay.
almost made me do this roadblock too. And again, this is an element that some people need to understand. Hardcore tar fans, when we're looking at these challenges, we're also trying to identify, knowing down the road you've got to even things out, but you don't
Yeah,
know what those challenges are down the road
yeah,
if you survive to the
yeah.
end. There is an element here, what's called roadblock stacking, where you're trying to stack one partner with more of the earlier roadblocks so you can lean on another partner later on. And so that's our dynamic with Lori and I, is we're going to try to give Lori as many roadblocks as we can early on, because the roadblocks earlier in the season tend to be easier than the ones later in the season, just in general. But
So I would have been 3-1 because you would have
three
done
to
the
one at
plank.
this point. I would have
Yeah,
done
I would have done both of them yesterday. Or I mean, yet last night's
yesterday.
episode.
Yeah, Jazz saying exactly. I made him do it because I had already done every roadblock before that. Jazz like,
Nice.
am I going to go 4-0 now? Like, Jack, you got to do something, buddy. Pull your weight. Okay, so let's talk about the fact that from there they go to the pit stop. This is the Kachina Chateau.
Yeah, from the
Beautiful.
coin. Yeah, beautiful.
Like, holy crap, this building's amazing. That 2-story library, like, talk about some iconic
Yeah,
pictures.
absolutely gorgeous. But this was the final thing that I was like, "What is
Well,
happening?"
no. Wait, sorry. We missed one.
Which way miss?
Leaving the bottling,
Oh,
there
yeah.
was
She
another thing
writes
that
down
happened.
directions for 2 other teams.
Yeah. So, first off, yes, teams all the time will take time to write down instructions. That's normal. Okay.
Normal.
You get the information, you write it down, you make sure you've got it, and then you go. I don't think I've ever seen, and I think Jag and Jazz pointed it out in their commentary. I think this is a first time ever TAR event that a team has written down instructions for another team, let alone
2
2
teams.
other teams.
And not like go straight for 30 minutes and turn left. Not that. It was like a whole page. I was like, "You're taking the time to do that? You know that this is the very end. Run your brains out and get to the mat. Get to Phil." I am like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wild.
So I love
Never.
it though. I love it because it's
Love it.
challenging my stereotypes or my biases, right?
Yes.
Like, I approach this in a methodical way and I'm like, wait, but is there elements here? And I think there is,
Yeah.
that these teams, and we missed the chance to shout out Team Trainwreck. That's the name of this alliance that
Yeah.
got created
Love it.
while they were waiting for this to open up. And that's what's interesting. We've seen a lot of seasons, alliances get created during stop down times.
Yeah.
We see the cave situation where I think 4 or 5 teams in like season 33 or 34 all became super tight
Yeah.
because they were all stuck in a cave at the same time. So fortune, opportunity, make the best of it, you know. So Trainwreck gets together. Clearly they're looking out for each other because they're
Yeah.
going to write instructions, and then Jazz and Jag leave those instructions tucked up underneath the trunk, knowing they got to put their pack in the back, and that's where they're going to see the directions. Like, that's brilliant. Like, it's brilliant, right?
And there probably would have been 2 or 3 different teams. We would have done that with not every team on our season, but we would have done that. I mean, I don't know if we would have written down instructions, but we would have tried to stay together in that alliance together. My only issue with leaving those instructions under the thing, because they zoomed in on that, I thought for sure it would have blown away and they would have never seen it as they opened up their trunk. I thought a better place was on the windshield because they would get in and be like, "Oh my gosh,
No,
there's something
under the
there." Underneath
windshield
the
wiper.
wiper. I thought
Yeah.
that would have been a better spot because I thought for sure when the camera like zoomed in on that, I'm like, "Oh, that's flying away. Like that's gone, that is gone." And then it was still there, which I was surprised.
Yeah.
But
Well, and I think where they were trying to avoid it being too obvious to other teams, maybe the windshield would have been too obvious. Somebody would have taken it for another
yeah,
team.
that's true.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
So okay, that was one thing we almost missed was talking about like writing down instructions for other teams. Like, are you kidding me?
Crazy.
And then at the very, very end, Jazz and Jag like lead them to the pit stop, which again, I don't hate the idea of like sticking with another team and
Right.
like let's get there together. To step aside and let some other team step on the mat first? Are you kidding me?
That is the wildest thing I've legit ever seen in The Amazing Race. Jazz, you're on. Like, what the freak were you thinking? Like, yes, overall, the kindest, nicest, regardless if it's
Oh,
her
yes.
birthday, they did deserve to have some kind of a reward because of all the effort that they had done. And they were in the lead and they wrote directions for you guys and they did a lot of stuff. But you guys easily could have outran them and
Right.
made it first. And they would have been thrilled to be second. Like they
Yes.
wouldn't have never have been like, oh my gosh,
Like
you guys
you
beat us.
could
They never would have
you
said
could
that to you.
see the shock in Natalie's face when she
Yes.
ran up to hug you guys, and then she was like, "Wait, you guys are seriously letting us go? Because you guys step aside and let her run into the atrium."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Wait, are you being serious?" Like she thought, I think
Yeah.
she was being punked. She's like, "There's no way this is real." But I loved it. Like when I think about who earned the win this week, they got the most blood on their hands. Natalie and Stephanie sat in the driver's seat so that Jazz and Jag didn't have to. Joseph and Adam didn't have to. They stayed when they were in the lead after leaving the beer and wrote down instructions and looked out for those other teams.
Yeah, and they did great on all of the challenges. So they weren't like behind. Like they did great at all of the challenges they
So,
were
I
in.
mean, I want to get into this more when we get to the recap later.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much time here, but I think there's a lot of social capital being played.
100%.
And I love that Jazz and Jag are showing that, hey, if you do good stuff for us, we will repay it.
Yeah.
And that's going to go huge, I think, for people.
I think the problem is now we're all going to get used to this kind of amazing, kind, loving gameplay. As we speak, 39 is somewhere being filmed.
And
They
like,
are not doing
cutting
any of
throats.
this.
Yeah.
And then we're going to watch and we're going, they're so mean. These are the meanest teams I've ever seen because they're not Jag and Jazz and they're not all these other amazing teams. Again, this is such a unique season because everyone already knows each other so well. And I know that Amazing Race has had seasons where people have come back. It's different. When you're in a house that is a tiny little house, and a lot of the times you have to stay inside and you can't even go outside because you're getting prepared for a challenge, and you're inside with these strangers, and you don't become strangers anymore. You have these bonds that are
Right.
not like Survivor, not like Amazing Race, nothing that you can even fathom unless you've been in that Big Brother house and have built these relationships with these people. And so that's why it's such a unique thing to see them on this season because we're all blown away. We've never seen it. But this is exactly how it should be because this is them. This is the Big Brothers playing the Amazing Race. It's so fun to see this.
Yeah, I love it. And Jazz is saying like our strategy was help teams early on so they would help us later on when it matters more and there's more on the line. And I love that. Like Lori and I are the same way, not because we're trying to manipulate a social game or trying to force teams to owe us, but the idea there is if we play our best game and we help you play your best game and we're better for it, like all ships rise with high tides, right? So this abundance mentality is just kind of that approach. Like we don't have to be cutthroat. We don't have to be tripping others or making them mess up or whatever. You know, it's a different way of racing, but it could definitely help you when you need it later because teams are going to be like, I kind of like Scott and Lori, you know? or maybe they don't like us and they're going to vote us.
Who
All right.
knows?
Let's get to some of the stuff that you guys are anxiously waiting for. We've got some giveaways to talk
Yay!
about. Again, if you follow us on any of our platforms, there's opportunities to get more entries on these giveaways. We've got 3 different giveaways each week: who wins the leg, who gets eliminated on the leg, and who gets the episode title. So
Yep.
we're going to do those right now. Here was that we had 57 people this week that responded. I was so excited about that. We had
Nice.
35 last week. So this is building. People are excited about
Love
it.
it.
I love it. 24 of you, 42% thought Jazz and Jag were going to go 3 for 3. And apparently
So did
they
I.
could have. They could have. They could have. They didn't, right? We had Natalie and Stephanie pull it off. So 4 of you were actually the ones who successfully got this one right. So let's play the video I recorded earlier of who wins this giveaway. This is for $10. Reach out to us on our platforms. We'll connect with you and make sure that you get your Venmo.
Yeah, we just need your Venmo
card or whatever. But here's who our winner is. Let's watch. All right, let's do the drawings first. We got the winner of the leg. This had 8 possible entries. Brianna had 4 of those. Kelsey had 2 of them. So you definitely improve your chances if you get signed up for more options following us. So let's shuffle and spin the wheel. Looks like Samara Duff is our winner. Congratulations, Samara. Oh, way to go, Samara. And Jazz is apologizing personally to the 24 people that they let down.
Come on, Jazz. Think of others. You are taking money
out of other people's mouths, Jazz. Your antics are not appreciated here. This is serious stuff. This is $10. All right, here's our next one. This was who we thought was going to get eliminated. When I first looked at this graph, I thought 78% had said it was a non-elimination leg. Those blues are just a slight shade different. This is actually 45 people were voting for Megan and Matt, and they voted correctly.
They were just so far behind.
I have pages of slides of these 45 entries. So, but
dang it.
Let's roll the video and see who wins this one. All right, this one had by far the most entries with 56 entries, 45 responses. 45 people got it right. Let's shuffle them up and spin the wheel. See who our winner is. Oh, almost Ben. It's Becky Rollins. Congratulations, Becky. Nice. $5 coming.
And I thought it was you. Sorry, dude.
So almost Ben.
So close, Ben.
All right. Last one. This was which team was responsible for the episode title, Cry and Rally. And a lot of people thought Kat and Alex. I think because Kat has been in the chat BCC every single week claiming the episode title. And so people are like, oh, maybe it is her this time.
Maybe it's this time.
She had been crying a lot in some previous episodes. So there was a chance it could have been. To the disappointment of 28 of you, it was not Kat and Alex. This was actually Rubina, guys. Rubina was the one who said cry and then rally, which I think was a really honorable or, exciting way to try to tackle things. But yeah, let's watch the video to see who won this one. So there was 11 of you with some that had multiple entries. So here we go. All right, last one. This is our giveaway for the episode title, Cry and Rally. We had 12 entries. Shuffle those and let's spin. See who's gonna win. Oh, looks like it's Kelsey. Congratulations. You're the winner. And if I remember correctly, yeah, Kelsey follows our vlog. She's subscribed to this vlog. So she should definitely see that she won $5. So that's awesome. All right. We're last thing before we wrap up, we're going to announce who our guests are going to be this week on our recap. So I'm excited about the people that we have lined up to talk about this episode with us. It's definitely going to have a Texas flair to it because we've got Kat and Alex from this current season are going to be joining us on the episode. So that's going to be super, super fun. And then in that other picture there, you can see this short, petite little girl there who's got a
Hurry up,
lot of
Dad.
fight.
Hurry up, Dad.
Come on, Dad. Come on, Dad. So Anna Lee is going to be able to join us
Yes.
for the recap. So
So
super
fun.
excited to have them. We also have another fan. Her name's Crystal that's going to be joining us for this recap. So can't wait to really just dissect this episode, break it down for everybody. We're actually going to be recording that later today, and then it should be out there either tonight or tomorrow. So look for that. Again, guys, we love you. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to like tune into us, whether it's live or later you're watching this. We just really enjoy the Amazing Race and being able to talk about our hot takes. So
Yep.
love you guys.